friends, we are looking at the Santa Claus set by MENTOJOY. This is set 8825 with 765 pieces across everything that you see here. And we'll take a closer look at every one of these elements, and then I'll tell you about the build process because I have some thoughts. It was not the best experience, but as far as the finished product, if you're willing to put in that time and maybe even your own parts, you can get a product that I think is pretty cool. It will be a fun little build to have in your Christmas display. All right, so we'll start with our first side build, which is this brick built present, and it is a red box with a white ribbon and a bow on it, and it opens up. On the inside, you've got, I don't know what the white little things are, but maybe they're snowballs. And it almost looks like it has a dreidel on the inside here. So correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is a top. So that's what you get on the inside of that. And then Santa himself, he almost looked like a brickhead at first when I saw him, but he's actually a pretty sturdy little build. He's a little bit top heavy, and in every nook and cranny is pretty much filled with bricks. There are some exceptions where they've allowed for some hollow areas, and his head is on a one of those turntables, so there's a slight amount of movement, but you're not really meant to turn him around at all. And then his arms are on ball joints, so you can move them side to side and out a little bit, but the connection from his arm to his gloved mitten is just one stud, so you can't move that too much, nor can you twist him at his wrist, so it's a little bit fragile there. And then good shaping for his head, for his hat, really good shaping. And then along the back here is his hair, shaping for his back and the belt, they work really well. And then you can see his pants too. He's got pants, and they must be short pants because you can see some of his flesh showing through. And then he's got these dark brown shoes on with these kind of comical oversized front edges, almost like he's wearing Crocs or something a little bit clown-like. But they did a pretty good job. Oh, and these are the only decorations in the entire set are these two eye pieces, and they're printed. Yeah, once you're done, like he's pretty cool. He's a good Santa to have in your collection. The other side builds include this tiny little train. Not much to it. And it kind of doesn't look like a train either. I mean, so you be the judge. You tell me if it looks like a train. One more side build is this bit of terrain with two candy canes. They have bells on the ends. A tiny snowman with they should have done a wider head, or minifigure head would have been good there. I don't know why they chose that as the head, unless the snowman is like Beaker from the Muppets, if you know who that is. And then this Christmas tree is not bad. So it's pretty good shaping, just kind of all the way around. It's a very simple Christmas tree, but Christmas trees in general they always need a lot of detail. So not bad. That's pretty good. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about my experience building Santa. So I was missing pieces. I was missing at least 4 pieces once I was completely done with the set. And MENTOJOY actually asks you to open up the first 3 bags just to even start. So you can see right here, it's like, hey, open all 3 bags and start building. So that's a little annoying because it should be a little bit more organized or thought through than that. So that was a little bit odd. And once I started missing pieces, I had to pull them from the future bags. So I was able, luckily, to find a couple from the other bags. And then once those were missing, then I started, making up pieces. So if I needed a 2x3, I would take a a 2x2 and a 1x2 and put them together instead. And then as a last resort, I was putting in my own parts. So as far as my own parts, I probably put in about 4 parts. The other thing in the instructions is that they are strictly isometric. So what I mean by that is, as you're looking at this, um, they 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 do a lot of like strange build techniques where things are sort of floating or hanging, and they're only meant to make sense once you press them in with another piece. And there aren't any you know how Lego sometimes puts a random piece in the middle that just doesn't make sense with the rest of the color scheme? Um, they do that as a way of helping you keep track of where you are in the build. So right in the center might be a bright pink piece or a bright blue piece, and then on one side is a green piece, and on the other side is a yellow piece. And as you're turning the model around, you can tell what side you're looking at. You can kind of tell and keep your place. Um, but they don't do that here. They only use strictly the colors that you need. Um, and making a mistake, you might not know it for several steps, and then you kind of have to backtrack. And because the illustrations are so strictly isometric in view, it's sometimes hard to tell where something is, especially if it's diagonally right behind the brick that is blocking it. So those things make it a little bit difficult to read, and I had to start marking, where there was missing pieces or if they had the incorrect quantity. So there were times when it said that I needed 1, but I actually needed 2, or vice versa. It says I need 2, but I only needed 1. And when I got to Santa's nose, I was so sad that this particular ball piece doesn't fit into the piece that it's supposed to attach to. So it's a 1x2 with this bar kind of at an angle. And this ball does have a hole, but it's completely loose. So I had to ask my wife for some wax that she got off of a piece of cheese, one of those cheese things that's covered in wax. She gave that to me. We put it inside the ball and we pushed it onto his nose, and then it stuck. But shouldn't be like that with a building set. A building set should include pieces that actually connect to each other. Another issue I had was near the end. Where is it? I wanted to show you because it's so weird. I'd never seen this happen in a instruction book. Here it is. So tell me what's happening here. There's one green piece off to the side, one green piece here, and then there's a X1, X2, X2, right? So it's like they just moved things around and forgot to update the part illustrations and put them in the correct places. And so that was confusing. I figured it out, of course. It's not that hard to figure out, but it's sloppy. And then here's another one of those missing pieces, and I just went ahead and just said, nope, I'm not going to use that one. I'll just use the extra one they gave me of this other color, right? So there was a lot of that in there. So unfortunately, that is kind of a pain. I do wish that they had thought that through a little bit more as they were putting everything together. And a set like this really is geared towards kids. It's going to be on the less expensive side. You're going to probably hand it to a kid to keep them busy during the holidays. So it's sad to see that there's definitely going to be kids out there that are going to be a little bit disappointed. But if you gave this to my nephew, who's 8 or 9 or 10, at that time, he would totally have figured it out. He would have saw it as a worthy challenge. He would have said, oh, it's missing this thing. I'll just do this from my own set. And luckily the parts are they're not rare parts. They're something that people would probably have in their collection. So it's not the end of the world, but if you're paying money for something, you'd want all the parts to be there, and you want them to click together, and you'd want the instructions to be clear. So that's my feedback on it. Last thing I'll say is that with these off-brand bricks, they typically have a different red than Lego's red. So that's something to keep in mind. It's usually a little bit more milky or a little bit more cloudy. And then when you hold it side by side up to a genuine Lego red brick, you'll see the difference. Not a big deal if it's standalone like this, but once I start putting my own red pieces in there, I totally noticed it. Not to mention, I don't enjoy putting my own Lego pieces into non-Lego models. All right, cool. So that is a look. Hope you found this useful for you. And if you liked the video, please hit like. I totally appreciate that. And if you could subscribe, that would mean a lot to me too. Thank you very much.